I have a signed truck from Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's Jimmy Hoffa?
You fucking kidding me?
I know I'm not.
You
It
never
sounds
seen The
Italian.
Irishman?
I saw parts of it, but I honestly didn't like it. I didn't like The
Yeah.
Irishman. Is that a character in it?
Essentially, yeah. It's like
Okay.
a main character. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna do a disservice trying to explain, like, truly, but like this is like a head master type of deal individual.
Okay.
For the unions, and I want to say maybe it's junior, because this is like recently signed.
Okay.
So I might be mixing up like.
In that category, basically, just anything on the more psychological side of things, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Melrose Park, Illinois.
Where's that?
That is about 20 minutes from here. It's close. So I'm in Elmhurst right now.
Yeah.
I remember I told you that, and it's like 15 minutes from there. It's closer to inner city, but it's not city yet. It's like it's towards that way.
Now, are you also part-time school?
No.
Okay, so what all do you do right now?
Right now, the podcast is my main focus, and then I just started working for your company.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for that. That's been going really, really well for me. So
What'd you do before? Like, what did you do prior?
After high school, I gave college a shot. I did like a semester of College of DuPage, which is the community college around here. And school never was for me. Like in school, I was always like the kid who just like, messed around a lot, like, was very ADHD all over the place, stuff like that. So I knew I had potential to do things, but those things did not involve school,
Yep.
and I'm still searching for that, like as we speak. And I probably always will be.
Yeah.
But I think what's fun about life is it's like the journey and always applying yourself to different things to try to find what works,
Completely agree. What was growing up for you like?
Growing up was normal. I mean, I was very blessed to have two loving parents. So, they were always there for like moral support, emotional support, physical support. So I had a really
Are they
good...
both Italian?
Yes. Very, very Italian family, yeah.
Did your grandparents come from Italy or?
My dad actually was born in Italy, and at like 3-4 years old, he came here.
What part of Italy?
He's from Bari, and my mom's family's from Naples.
So how close are those two?
I'm not sure. I don't think they're too close, but
have you visited either?
I have not, but one day I plan to. I definitely want to.
Have you ever been to Italy?
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how'd they meet?
So they actually met at their friend's wedding. So I think it's my dad's best friend, and he was marrying my mom's cousin.
Yeah.
So it was like a mutual wedding thing, and they got set up there.
Yeah.
And then they met, and
because I feel like Italians are like, you're Italian? I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Our parents will love this.
Yeah.
So my best friend growing up, he was Italian. So
Okay.
I worked at his pizza shop. Pretty sure his dad was born in Italy, or at least his dad's dad was, and built his own pizza shop, everything like that. You know, family recipe. We always went to his grandma's on Sunday, and I mean, she cooked everything from scratch. You know what I mean?
It's great. I'm very prideful in my culture, but I also love learning about different other, sorts of things and different cultures and all walks of life. That's why I do the podcast mainly too, is to learn about different people and
Who's the
interesting
middleweight
people.
UFC Italian guy?
Marvin Vettori. Yeah,
Marvin
he's
Vettori.
one of my personal favorites. I love the UFC, so Vettori, he came up short. No one can beat Israel Adesanya right now. No one can beat him. Yeah. He's on a different level than the rest of the guys, but Vittori's definitely a top contender.
Yeah.
But yeah, Izzy's gonna be up there for a while.
And then I saw it looks like you have an older brother.
No, I have an older sister.
Older sister?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was creeping through your Instagram. There was do you have an older cousin or dude that looks like you?
What do you know what post it was?
It looked like you were in Florida.
Oh yeah, those were my cousins.
Okay,
cousins. And my dad. Yeah, we took a picture. Yeah, we were in Florida.
I was like, he's got an older brother. So you have one sister?
Yes. Well, yes. I had two sisters. I have one sister. So yes, I actually had a sister who passed away when I was very, very young. So yeah, but that's another thing that's really been a big part of my life, of like why I have the perspectives on things I do.
Yeah.
I feel like that showed, like, my parents always taught me, like, that's my guardian angel.
Yeah.
And when shit gets tough, like, to
How'd
think about that.
How she pass away, if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. I don't mind. She was born disabled, like, in a lot of different ways. So her life expectancy wasn't long, anyways.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like expected. But
yeah,
she passed away at 7. But I got a tattoo on my arm right here for her.
Yeah,
she's just like my guardian angel.
That's dope,
yeah.
dude. Look at mine.
Oh, that you got a lion
it's
too.
It's not for a guardian angel, but it was kind of
that's
grew
awesome.
up on the lions. I got them all over.
Nice. Yeah, but I love the lion. I love the representation of it for me because I feel like people who they love lions or they represent something for them. For me, it was always my sister. Her favorite toy when she was little was a lion, and she couldn't really speak, so she could like kind of sound out words, and she would like rawr, So my mom always said like, oh, like Gianna's like our lion. She protects us. She watches over us. That sort of thing.
Love that. That's dope. Now, what about your older sister? What does she do?
She is in like nuclear medicine.
Wow.
Yeah, she's doing good. I'm very proud of her. Like any younger brother, but she just got married and stuff like that. So pretty exciting. That was a fun wedding.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I love
Italian
her
wedding.
Husband. Yeah, very very Italian wedding. Yeah.
That's dope.
So
that's dope.
I'm really happy for her.
Now, was that down in Florida?
No, that was I was at I did 2 weddings in November. That's the thing about Italian families. You got weddings left and right all the time. Yeah,
always got weddings.
Yeah. So I was at my cousin's wedding. Congrats. His name's Joey. That was in Naples in Florida. Yeah. So I was down there for that early November. Then late November. I'm sorry, reverse. Early November, my sister got married in Chicago, and then late November, I went to my cousin's wedding.
Dope.
Joey, yeah. So.
Now, what do your parents do, or what they do for work growing up, and what do they do now?
So we were always like, middle class. Like my parents don't do anything like extravagant or whatever. My dad, I pride him in this, and I look up to him for this. Like he's just a very very hard worker. He's always been super super hardworking. He's been in like the union for I want to say 40 years, but now he's not anymore. He works for some pharmaceutical company, and he's a supervisor there. So, but he works a lot, and he provides for the family. He always.
You tell him our company's unionized, built around unions.
I'm sorry.
You tell him our company's unionized.
Yeah. I've been telling him all about it since I've been here. So
that's all we do is pitch to unions. That's been our bread and butter. I have a signed truck from Jimmy Hoffa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's Jimmy Hoffa?
You fucking kidding me?
I know I'm not.
You never seen The Irishman?
I saw parts of it, but I honestly didn't like it. I didn't like The Irishman. Is that a character in it?
Essentially, yeah. It's like a main character. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm gonna do a disservice trying to explain, like, truly, but like this is like a headmaster type of deal individual.
Okay.
For the unions, and I want to say maybe it's junior, because this is like recently signed.
Okay.
So I might be mixing up like.
Yeah, I love all the old school Italian movies I grew up on, Bronx Tale, stuff like that. But Irishman, I never really gave a chance.
American labor union leader who served as the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters from 57 until 71 from an early age. Hoffa was a union activist, and he became an important regional figure with the IBT in his mid-20s.
Oh,
so I'm pretty sure it's Jimmy Hoffa Jr. Yeah. But
interesting, yeah. I definitely got to check it out. When it first came out, I didn't give it the chance because it was such a long movie, and I already had heard not the best things about it. Well, do you like it? Was it good?
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, if you like mob movies and different things that, and I saw like when I was digging around, it's like you had some Soprano references and shit. Like that.
Yeah.
You're gonna like the movie. Just I feel like
I got to give it that chance.
You got to give it a chance. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it's a phenomenal movie. Phenomenal. So, growing up, where'd you go to high school?
I went to York High School in Elmhurst.
Yeah.
So I know you had Joe Gull on this podcast.
Yeah.
So I know Joe Gull real well. We've done some work together and stuff in the past. Yeah. He's a good kid. So
that's dope. But he actually hit me up the other day. We're trying to get this kid out here to do some photography work for me.
Yeah. Nice. But, he's good. He's good at what he does. So
dope kid. So what was high school like for you? Was it fun? Was it boring?
Yeah. High school was normal. It was okay. I went to and this is not me bashing my high school.
Yeah.
I was very I was very blessed, and it was a great experience. I was around a lot of good teachers, a wealthier area sort of thing, Elmhurst being. And, it was just, I always felt kind of like on my own. Like I never really had a place to fit in besides my group, because I've been with the same group of people for like a long time. Like I've had the same group of friends. And high school at York was very like picky, like everyone was very like secluded cliques. With their own cliques. Yes.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm a very outgoing person. I like to meet new people.
Yeah.
I like to be surrounded by a lot of people. So I didn't love that part necessarily, but it was cool. It was a decent experience.
So I guess with that, did you play sports growing up at all? What sports you play?
I grew up playing basketball like when I was really young.
Yeah.
You saw how short I am, 5'7", so didn't really make it anywhere with basketball. It was a big passion of mine for like a long, long time. But then when I didn't make the basketball team freshman year, me and my buddy, actually Devin, who's working here now with me, we both came up on here together. We both were like, oh, let's go try wrestling. And from there, I started wrestling, and I didn't really take it serious till my senior year, which I regret, because now I train martial arts like as a hobby on the side. And I wish I had that drive when I was younger, but it kind of came later in my life, if that makes sense. So I love wrestling. I wrestled throughout high school, and now I train on the side Muay Thai or wrestling, jiu-jitsu, MMA, just everything. But
I saw that. So I was curious because I've been real heavy on a jiu-jitsu focus.
I've been seeing that's
recently.
Awesome.
So how long have you trained? Like how would you grade your jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu, like a 2 out of 10. I only have some skill at it because of the wrestling background and my grappling background, but jiu-jitsu not too good at, but I can definitely grapple all right. But Muay Thai was what I took more serious when I was training more heavy in the past.
Is the Muay Thai more like the switch kicks and shit like that?
Yeah, Muay Thai is just basically kickboxing, but like there's different things too. There's elbows and it's much more Thailand based.
What is Adesanya black belt in? Then would it be Muay Thai or?
I know he was a kickboxer. He was a professional kickboxer. Actually, my old coach, shout out Richard Abraham, great guy. He's the head coach at the gym I trained at. He was in Glory Kickboxing. Gym? Yes, he owns Maximus Muay Thai.
Okay.
So he fought in Glory professionally. Glory is like the highest level of kickboxing, and actually that's where Israel Adesanya came from. That he was a king in that realm before he made it to the UFC. So what he did was kickboxing before.
So where do you train now?
Right now, I'm just working out, focusing on my body and stuff like that. But when I go back, I'll probably train Muay Thai and keep doing MMA and wrestling, just keeping everything sharp and stuff like that, and keep growing.
I've been trying to get more into the wrestling.
Yeah,
I think it's really good for the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Just having it's like the stand-up game for jiu-jitsu. It's like having a good wrestling background.
I trained with a lot of jiu-jitsu guys and girls at my gym, but and like they, I'll say this 9 out of 10. I'll say this 10 out of 10 times. A jiu-jitsu person will always beat a wrestler if they're at the same level. Or even if a wrestler's better than a decent jiu-jitsu guy, I always think jiu-jitsu
you're gonna shoot that single leg on me. I'm gonna guillotine the shit.
You're gonna get The submissions are dangerous.
Absolutely. So, I guess the next question I have is just kind of like presently, where's your life at? You know what I mean? Where are you in this present moment in your life? Where's your mind and everything like that?
I feel like I'm in a really good place right now. I'm definitely, I'm young. I'm 20 years old, and I got a lot to learn. Absolutely. But I feel like one of the things that I'm good at is, I try a lot of different things. I really put myself out there, and I never turn down opportunities. And I feel like with the right amount of hard work, I'll be able to, persevere that and gain something out of it. So right now, I'm just trying to, roll with the punches, go with the flow and push forward and just try to make things happen. And the podcast is something I've loved for so long, and I've been doing it, and it gives me like peace, and it's almost like a therapy thing for me when I'm, just like learning about someone else or, being on someone's podcast, doing my own. It's always a learning experience, and just learning about people is what it's all about.
Would you say that's your biggest passion right now is probably your podcast?
Not right now, because we took a break because the guys I do it with, they go to school, So 2 of them go to Arizona State University, and one of them is in Kentucky, I believe.
So are you guys all like good friends?
Yes, very, very good friends, been friends for years.
So how'd you guys all come together?
Through high school. We were just in a little bit in middle school, but we got really close. We formed a group in high school, and then after high school, during the pandemic, we're like, okay, everyone's stuck at home. What should we do? And we're like, we all love to talk about. We all have these deep talks without cameras rolling. We all have these cool talks about whatever.
What are they all going to school for?
My buddy Ralphie, who goes to ASU, he goes for astrophysics. He's very, very smart. He does some astrophysics, I believe. And then Sam Graybow, he also goes to ASU with Ralphie. He is, I believe, doing business. He's just and then Santino's also doing business.
My little sister just dropped out of ASU to come here. She was in business.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, she dropped out. She was like, why the fuck would I go to school?
Yeah, no, that, and I think it's good I think school's good for people.
Combination. It's a combination. I'm not.
Yeah.
I get a lot of shit on TikTok because I made one about like.
I see. I know you're talking about. I seen
like,
it.
I had like 1,000 frat boys or something.
Really?
Fuck you. We love school.
Like,
I didn't say it wasn't for, you know what I mean, for everybody.
Yeah.
It's definitely needed.
Yeah. I think it's needed if you want to go towards a field that you need that degree for.
Yeah.
You know? But like, I know I'm just trying to be an entrepreneur and you know, do multiple different things. And I know, you know, maybe for me, school's not going to be that, you know?
Absolutely, bro.
But
getting into sales is the way to go. I just finished a documentary before you showed up on Carl Icahn. You know what I mean? Just a self-made billionaire. And he got a medical degree, and he didn't fucking use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He went to work on Wall Street, got into sales, and then he took that knowledge and took a loan from his uncle and bought I believe they explained it as a chair in Wall Street or something, started his own firm and capitalized on a niche of essentially taking a significant amount of ownership in companies that are trending down, and then I believe it was this selling the options or something. So he would sell the company back based off of an evaluation of what it technically was worth. Opposed to what it was evaluated as it was currently. If that makes sense.
Interesting, yeah.
But like, dude had no degree. So it was like,
I feel like that's what I hear about most like very, very successful entrepreneurs.
Dude had a medical degree, not no degree.
Okay. And like even Gary Vee, I know he went to school, but he didn't even use it. And he always preaches about don't just go to school to go to school, because that's what everyone does.
I think that networking is huge. A lot of these individuals, I mean, you can't, like, going to an Ivy League school is probably one of the best investments you could make for the networking opportunity of, like, you know, how many little fucking Zuckerbergs are running around up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Like, just ready for you to just connect with and network with. And, you know, I always tell people, it's like, it's a combination of, you know, obviously who do you know, your network's your net worth, but truly who knows you. You know what I mean? And getting people to know you just directly corresponds with how much value you bring to that individual and how much genuine joy you bring to them. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you set people's intentions and their agendas above yours, and you focus on making other people bigger than you, you inadvertently make yourself big as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the long-term approach, but short-term money and quick money is fleeting money. It's stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. But yeah, that's interesting.
So, I don't know what the fuck happened, but somebody in this office gave me a runny nose.
Really?
Yeah. But who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I knock on wood. I've been here, no runny nose yet. I've been here every day, so.
I know, dude. I'm pissed. I'm like, I was like, telling everybody, I was like, I'm gonna beat the hell out of somebody. Somebody gave me this runny nose, got me all messed up.
Yeah.
But I was gonna go to jiu-jitsu tonight, and I was like, man, I don't want to freak these people out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm down with it. I would just fucking snot
push
all
through
over
it. Yeah.
But especially with today's day and age of the stupid ass COVID shit.
Yeah.
And shout out to, you know, anybody that's lost anybody or had any negative, you know, impact, whether it be family, friends, or people that you've known through COVID. I don't know anybody, and I'm not vaccinated and shit like that. So I get a lot of shit for that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know
I know. I agree with you on that. I mean, you know, when it comes to COVID, I try to put myself in everybody else's shoes, and you know, I just think you should always do what's best for you. Yeah. And I think what's best for me might be different what's best for someone else.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's like the best way I can put it, kind of.
Yeah, I completely agree. I had my lawyer on here because I was getting a little worried about, you know, just the mandates and things were going on. Because I was like, I'm definitely not, you know what I mean, like trying to just submit to these stupid ass mandates. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, technically, you know, when you bring Roe versus Wade in, and that was the abortion case they referenced years ago. You know, ultimately, we have, I think it's a Fifth Amendment as well, where, like, you have rights to your own, like, thank God we have rights to our own bodies, you know what I mean, our own physical beings, where it's like, it's my body, you know, my choice, essentially. So, and, dude, when I look at, like, you know, some of the stock evaluations of, like, Pfizer, you know what I mean, like they did, like, $100 billion in sales or something over,
really?
Like, like, over that short period of time, and, like, the individuals that bought in, and then, like, you see, like, how, like, it was, like, it's like it was almost like a mandate to like 10x, you know what I mean, their income, which is pretty weird. You know what I mean,
I wasn't the biggest fan of how they were marketing,
how it all played out.
Yeah, they were marketing the vaccine with like, oh, like, you know, get a $20 gift card if you get vaccinated, get $100. Like, I don't like that because, like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just I don't even like to get political with stuff like that, you know. And I know you're the same way. Just like, you know, want to steer clear of that. Stay focused on what I'm doing in front of me.
I'm real like, you know. I mean, some individuals would probably assume like, he's mixed. He's probably leftist, and then some people hear me and as they get closer to me, they're probably like, oh fuck, he's probably like an extreme Republican. You know what I mean? Where he's like, he's probably an extreme rightist. But if I'm an extremist of anything, it's just you know, human self-love of just do whatever the fuck makes you happy as long as you're not hurting anybody.
100%, yeah.
So I think that's...
I'm very in the neutral area. Like, I it blows my mind how people can pick a side. Like, and I don't hate them at all for that. I'm surrounded by people between left and right. Yeah. Like, very heavy left, very heavy right. Yeah. But I see so much truth in both sides. So that's where I lie, where I'm like, shit, I don't know where I stand, you know. I just know that I believe in good. I believe in good, and I believe in right decisions, and, you know, so.
Now, do you hunt at all?
No.
You don't like hunting?
I've never hunted.
Never hunted?
Never hunted.
Nobody in your family hunts?
No. I have my brother-in-law. One of his passions, he loves to shoot, go to the range. Yeah. But I don't think he's ever hunted either. I don't really know anyone in my family who's hunted before.
Dope. So we're back. So I wanted to get back into more passions. You know what I mean? We're talking about your podcast. Do you have passions outside of your podcast?
Oh, yeah. I got
we talked about MMA a little bit. Who is your favorite fighter?
Ooh, favorite fighter. That's a tough one. Of all time or like right now?
Both.
Okay, of all time. Wow, I don't even know. I don't even know if I could decide that. Okay, for right now, in this moment, I really I think Sean O'Malley is really awesome. I think how he's
Sugar Sean
doing things is different, and I love how he goes about that and how.
Yeah, they always say Adesanya is such a technical like striker, but I feel like Sean O'Malley's right up there with him.
He's technical. I don't know if he's as technical as Israel.
I don't know, dude. I mean, maybe just because he's in a lighter weight class, but it looks like he'd be teeing off on these cats.
He does, but he's like, the thing is, Israel Adesanya is versing he's making the number one contender in the middleweight division look 10 levels under. Yeah. Sean O'Malley's still fighting.
Yeah, fighting his way up.
He's fighting his way up still. He's still fighting ranked 11th opponents. What weight class is he in? Sean O'Malley is a...
Featherweight?
I don't know. No, he's not bantamweight. I'm not sure.
Let's look him up.
I think he fights at 125, 135, one of the two.
So who's your favorite fighter of all time then?
Of all time... It might. So there's this guy. He's not even in the UFC anymore. But he kind of, his fighting got me into the UFC. His name's Chad Mendes. Yeah. I love him. Big fan of him. So he's not with the UFC anymore. But he was one of the first fights I watched. I was like, wow.
Who'd he fight?
This sport's awesome. I watched his first fight was against Conor McGregor. That's when I first got into the UFC. Yeah. And that was probably, I think, 2016, 2017, around there. So no, 2016, I think. Is when I'm don't quote me on that though, I'm not sure, but I seen that video on YouTube of him versus Conor, and he obviously lost. Yeah. But I was like, oh, this guy looks pretty badass, and I started checking him out, and he's a great fighter. So I don't know if I don't think I could decide an all-time favorite. If I had to, maybe probably like GSP, George St. Pierre. Yeah. Just because he's another legend, like an absolute legend in the sport. So, yeah, I think I'd go with GSP or Chad Mendes. Yeah. Kind of a weird pick, but I think just because, like, the sentimental value that Chad Mendes holds with me, because, like, he was one of the first fighters I watched, and he was, like, on his upcome when I first started watching the UFC. He was on his come up, so.
I think one of, like, the first major fights that really did it for me was Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman. And it's the fight where Chris Weidman checked a leg kick, and Silva snapped his leg. Okay. And I was like this is absolutely insane. You know what I mean? I love this, but I was pissed because for some reason I loved Anderson Silva. I don't know how.
He's a legend.
Highlights and things like that. But and then that eventually kind of transcended and evolved into me all time and current. I would technically still consider him like eligible for fighting. Would be John Jones.
Yeah, he's a very controversial fighter, but you gotta put him top 3 at least. You got to, because this guy was on coke the weekend before his fights, dude. And he wasn't taking it serious, partying, and he's still just.
No one's comparable with him, regardless of allegations. And I've met a lot of fighters and shit like that. Everybody's on shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's ways that you can just synthetically make adjustments where it's like just not traced in your system, and at the end of the day, dude, like I've fucking rolled with people on heavy stacks and shit like that, and it's like, it just comes down to like who's the better fucking fighter.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so it's like who's the better fighter. So I look at John Jones as definitely, like you said, one of those top 3. I would have McGregor up there, and
yeah. And McGregor just put the sport on the map.
Yeah, he really did.
Because of his showmanship. It was
insane.
So, yeah. So different. So, just lightning. He's just lightning. Like, just how he carried himself when he was, taking out all these vets. And especially when he knocked out Jose Aldo. That was crazy.
It was like 16 seconds.
Yeah. That was so absurd at the time. Because Jose Aldo was, like, one of the top contenders. And it was just, like, for Conor to put him out that quickly into the fight. It was like, wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was nuts. So, one of my favorite questions to ask people is kind of like food. Is food something that you really like? And then if so, like, where's your favorite place to eat?
Food. So, yeah, obviously I love food. I'm a little bit of a stockier guy, so always eating. That favorite place to eat, it might be... Okay, so, like, on a more daily basis, so I still work part-time for a restaurant. It's actually, so my sister, her husband, it's his family is partner owners of this business.
Yeah.
So I work for his family-owned business.
Yeah.
It's called Pazzita Pizza. It's in Elmhurst. You should definitely go check it out sometime. It's a great Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
It's never gotten old for me. I've been working there for close to 3 years. Dang. And I love the food. Yeah. So I've been in the food industry too with that. And, so there's my favorite place to eat on a consecutive basis or whatever. But of all time, when I was in Florida in November, I went to this place called Turtle Club in Naples. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I haven't.
Okay, so it's a restaurant, but it's really cool. You're on the beach.
Yeah.
Like you literally eat on the sand. It's very like nice, and there's tables wherever. But the seafood was phenomenal. It was ridiculous. It was the best, and I love seafood because I grew up on it with Italian family, Christmas and holidays. We're always eating fish and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
What is the 7 fishes or whatever?
I 7 fishes is I don't know the exact 7, but I just know what me and my family we would eat because we wouldn't like go buy a legit like 7 certain fish. But really popular is like baked clams, raw clams, oysters, calamari, shrimp, octopus, things like that. Those are things we would eat. Lobster, just all different types of fish. So there was no really like specific 7 fishes, but just the whole aspect of eating seafood on a holiday was, or even on a Sunday at a family dinner was like what we would.
Where's that like derived from though?
I'm not sure, honestly. I feel like my old boss at my work, he told me when he was younger, growing up in Italy, he told me this really cool story. He was like, they were very poor in Italy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of my family, had to really, work for what they have now in America because of like how they grew up in Italy and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of, it's a lot of family. So he grew up in Italy, I want to say in Sicily. And he told me this story. He was like, yeah, we were real poor and we needed to eat. So what we do is we were really good swimmers. We lived right by the water. We'd go and we'd jump in the water, and there would be like ships that were like grabbing, pulling up all the fish, like with the nets or whatever I'm talking about. And he would swim under and he would go and steal fish from this boat or whatever. And like he would bring it back home, cook it, clean it, and eat it.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to me, and I was like, wow, that's some caveman. That's some like survival shit right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like, and this guy's only, 60 something years old, and to hear that that's how his when he was growing up, how he had to do things is like so like different world to me, So it was very interesting to hear something like that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, but I'm not sure though, to answer your question, like where does that come from? That I think it's just kind of like how we grew up, and for generations on generations kind of been, what we eat and what, stuff like that. But
so I guess my next question is, what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? You ask really tough questions.
Yeah.
Favorite movie.
I always just ask like what I love.
Yeah.
Like I love food. I love movies.
Yeah. No, I mean definitely. Favorite movie. I gotta really think about this one. There's so many good movies. There's so many. I like a movie that sits with me well. You know, that like the movie like taught me something. I like learning things from film, and like taking it into my own life. I got a favorite show. Can I tell you my favorite show?
Yes.
Because this is a big part of my life that I live by.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard of Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Yeah.
The cartoon. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am like obsessed, in love with that show. Always have been. Obviously grew. You know, we're around the same age a little bit. Growing up, that's what I would watch on Nickelodeon and whatnot. I actually just got my chest done with a Avatar piece. Like I got the 4 elements on my chest. Yeah. So like that show, I take away so many different lessons within that into my own life that are so beautiful to me, you know? But yeah, that's my favorite show of all time, hands down.
How'd you like the movie they made?
Oh, absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I don't even consider it. I don't even associate it with the show. Yeah. It was really bad made. There's been rumors about them making a new one, a new live action. So I have high hopes that's
Was
good.
there any other like show? Wasn't there a spin-off with
Legend
the girl?
of Korra? Yeah, I also love that. That was
Was it a good show?
It was good. It wasn't as good as Avatar, but it was very good.
Yeah.
I think why I love that show so much is because I loved it when I was little, right? It was a kid's show, a cartoon. Then I rewatched it again when I got older, and there were these messages, these things within that I was able to take away to my adult life, just morals and lessons and things that really I appreciated and wanted to live by more. You know?
Did you watch it when like it was on Netflix again and like it was like real big?
I rewatched it. Is
that when you rewatched it?
Yeah, so I watched it as a kid. Always remembered it, loved it. It was
so like a year or two ago, you rewatched it. Is that?
Yeah, probably like 2 years ago. That's when it was real.
Because my whole office was watching it. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
I got way back into it about 2 years ago, probably whenever it dropped on Netflix. But yeah, that's always been something that like sits close to my heart, just because I love how it's a cartoon and they have this character development and they show these different lessons and growth and just learning different things. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm all about. Is I like to, you know, absorb anything that I can learn something from or grow from, you know? Yeah. Because I feel like if you're not getting 1% better every day, then, you know, then
you're getting 1% worse.
Yeah. Maybe. So, right? Essentially, yeah.
So, I guess, do you have a favorite book?
Favorite book? I don't read, but I plan on it. I don't read, and
Have you audiobooked or like?
I've tried.
Podcasted.
I listen to podcasts definitely a lot. Obviously owning my
Do you have a favorite podcast?
I really like Impulsive. I think Logan
That's
Paul
where I get a lot of my, like, I always send to Aiden. I'm like, what can we learn from this? You know what I mean? Yeah. When I think of, like, one of the most influential people in the world right now, especially to our age demographic, I'm thinking of, like, Logan Paul. Yeah. What about you?
Like Joe Rogan. Probably Joe Rogan.
I feel like he hits the whole...
He hits the entire... Everything. Like, he can... And that's what I try to base my podcast off of, like, same thing as you, Impulsive, Joe Rogan. Yeah. Sort of like that, because, you know, like Logan Paul, he's, whether you hate him or love him, he's a great entertainer. He is. Yeah. And he knows how to market himself correctly and the moves he makes, stuff like that. So I obviously have a lot of respect for that. But Joe Rogan, him being so unbiased with everything is what I try to aspire to be, you know, like being unbiased. And I feel like I already have that skill to be unbiased, but just then meeting all these different people and learning all these different walks of life and taking it and bringing it into my own, you know?
Yeah, so. Absolutely fire. So I guess I hit it on the things that I wanted to hit on. I wanted to kind of go into more of like what things did you want to talk on, things we haven't covered yet. Or...
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about just like, you know, I could even why do we podcast, sort of questions like that, like you know. I mean, why do you know why you do it? Do you have a...
For me, I think it's a combination of I get a lot of fulfillment from learning from people, learning different walks of lives. I'm a very curious individual. I talk all day. You know what I mean? I get paid to talk and consult. So it's an opportunity to kind of just shut my mouth down for an hour and just listen and learn and grow. And I think that's probably a combination of, you know, I think the fulfillment of learning other individuals in addition to... I guess simultaneously, hopefully trying to help people with it. You know what I mean? That's pretty much the gist of it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. I definitely, for me, why I do it, I definitely agree with that. It brings that fulfillment, but the biggest thing for me with it is like, I feel like, so it brings that fulfillment, but doing a podcast, it allows me a place to get vulnerable. And I've gotten, obviously I'm a smaller platform, only a couple hundred subscribers, stuff like that. But the people who do watch and do appreciate the podcast, we've gotten these messages just throughout the 2 years of our podcast from people just saying, wow, like this episode was like so important to me. Like, thank you so much. Like, it helped me like realize things, or it just made me feel good. Like, so I think that's what makes me so like, it makes me feel so good inside, because I know all I'm doing is just trying to have a conversation about something that might be important to someone out there, you know? And especially if I'm passionate about the conversation or the topic, I'm going to go like really, really into it. And, at the end of the day, it's all worth it, because I'm getting inner peace and fulfillment for speaking on these different topics. And then there's someone out there who might be battling their own demons that they can relate, and they see how I'm trying to work out through these different problems or whatnot. So like I said, I've talked a lot about like just like people's adversities and self-love, discipline, different things like that. Very like that sort of field, whatever you would consider it. But just getting vulnerable and just being, like trying to problem solve on a topic with someone and just figure out what it is, sort of that thing. It's a tricky field, but it's a beautiful art. I feel like just being able to be human and talk to someone and ask them questions about themselves and go along with that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. What about your future? Future goals. Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to live? What do you want to have, drive? Kids, all that.
I have such a respect for people who their drive is money. Not that like, and I'm saying that's a good thing, because it is, you can, if you want to push yourself to make a lot of money, help the people around you, money buys freedom.
Yeah.
I think money's great. For me, deep down, money's never been something that has given me fulfillment. I don't think it will ever be, but what will give me fulfillment is finally retiring my parents, letting them enjoy the rest of their years, giving back to my family. Like that's my overall goal. And where I see myself is, I definitely want to, keep rolling with the sales, because I've always felt like I had a thing for sales, like where I could just, I appreciate talking to people. It's one of my many passions, just like really talking to people and doing stuff like that. So, I mean, the goal is to do sales, and hopefully if that does well for me, start making good income and being able to open up other businesses and stuff like that, and just be an entrepreneur and be able to live with freedom. And be able to, give back to the world with podcasting or just, helping someone, because that's the overall goal, is to just, help other people at the end of the day for me. So,
do you want to stay in Chicago?
I do. I'm a homebody. I really do love Chicago, but I vacationing would be great, and going different places to meet new people, and for business, of course, I don't mind that. But because of my base, because of I have such a big family, and I'm very close with all of them. I feel like I'll always be here, because I always want to be around them, and I feel like it'll always keep me grounded no matter where my life takes me. I'll always have, my Zia, which is aunt in Italian, to go back to her house, sit around with the family and just bullshit, shoot the shit, eat the food, and just, be a family, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that, because I know a lot of kids, a lot of people don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have, that solid family base where they can go back and they can talk and get advice and be like, hey, I'm dealing with this right now. Can you help me with this? Or just have that comfort of family around,
Yeah.
So I know I'm very privileged for that, and I'm grateful for it. And that's why, like, I try to love everyone I speak to, and I try to, give that comfort to anyone who might not have that. You know what I'm saying? So it comes down to that for me.
Where do you think the world's going to be in the next, 5-10 years?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, obviously, the world's crazy. The world's crazy. It always has been. It always will. It always will be. But I think it comes down to the core. It comes down to how parents are raising their kids. If parents are staying in their kids' life, stuff like that. And but there's also so much you can do for someone. You can guide someone in the right direction. You can give them you can open all the doors for them, but it's up to them if they want to walk through them.
Yeah.
So it comes down to that. I don't know where the world's gonna be at, but that's why, like, a big part of mine, and it's a huge goal, but I want to be able to affect the world, just by like giving off my energy and being positive and like, just like helping people basically just with words and just with actions when I'm able to, stuff like that.
Who do you think you look up to the most in the world?
Probably my dad.
Yeah.
I look up to my dad, and my dad's been through a lot. He lost a daughter, like we were talking about earlier, and he about a year and a half ago now, he got diagnosed with AML, a myeloid leukemia. So he battled through that, and that was a really tough time in my life, and it was also I learned a lot from it, and I grew a lot from it, if that makes sense. I stepped up and became, a better man from it, if that makes sense. It was definitely a tough challenge, but it's stuff like that makes me want to work so hard in my own life to give back to his, So thank God, he's doing really well now. So I count my blessings every day for that, because, he had a really hard time, and with COVID and everything, visitors were really off the table in the hospital to visit my dad and stuff like that. But my dad is one of the most, if you ever meet him, one of the most positive people you will ever meet. And even during his darkest times, he always said, like, I'm down right now, but I know I'm going to get through it. Like, his perseverance is like absurd. And I look up to that so much. Yeah. And I want to be, I hope to be half the man he is one day, if that makes sense.
So do you think the most important lesson he ever taught you was to kind of just persevere in the face of adversity?
Yeah. And even during the darkest times, of course, don't be delusional. And by no means am I a delusional person where I'm always happy and stuff like that. And nor is he, but he always kept the chip on his shoulder during the dark times. He made it clear, like, you could see it on his face. He's not in a good place right now, but with time he will be, and he knew that, and he kept fighting, every day to be healthy again, to take care of his family, So it was stuff like that, his actions, his mentality that really made me want to become better and stuff like that. And I touched about it a little bit on the podcast, and that's what I mean with the vulnerability thing, because I get vulnerable on my podcast, and I talk to my friends about these situations. We don't go too in depth in them, but we talk about the moral aspect of them. And someone out there is going to be able to relate to that. Someone out there has a sick parent, or someone who is going through something or something like that, and it might be a dark time for them, but they keep working, they keep pushing through.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's fire. So anything else on your heart, on your mind?
Not at the moment. Right now, I'm just focused. I want to start grinding. I want to start, really, really putting myself out there, putting in the work, and start seeing success from it. Because, that's all it comes down to.
When will you be licensed?
Soon. I just finished my class, so gonna schedule the test soon. Gonna be studying these next couple of days, so I'm excited, and I'm grateful for you, man, because you talked to Devin, you gave me this opportunity, and I'm forever appreciative for it.
I'm excited. I always tell everybody, because you mentioned, if sales works out. It's just a matter of when will sales work out, because it's a numbers game. It's not a selling game.
For sure.
If you just stick it out long-term perspective with everything that, throughout the podcast we discussed, throughout your podcast, you've created in regard to overcoming adversity and persevering and being realistic, but also optimistic, and not allowing negativity to overtake you or overcome you. You make it. You know what I mean? Everybody's in sales.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of making sure you're in the right vehicle. You know what I mean? So I think the financial services is the number one industry that produces the most, millionaires. And like you said, money isn't going to, be everything, but it brings freedom. So it's absolutely necessary. So where can people find you?
So people can find me on Instagram, Luigi.Allegrini, and then our YouTube, TBP, The Bigger Picture Podcast. If you look up TBP Podcast, it should pop up. So, or it's in my description on Instagram. So go check out our YouTube videos. Definitely gonna be posting more there soon, talking about anything, interesting guests, stuff like that. You said you're gonna be hopping on soon, so that'll be exciting. Can't wait to pick your brain.
Yes, bro. And shout out to your boys as well, your friends.
Thank you. Yeah, shout out Ralphie Ortiz, Santino Domingo, and Sam Graybow.
Let's go. Shout out to you guys. Another episode in the books. Another hour down. Let's go. Peace.